What are the things that you're not supposed to do whenever you're attending a video interview, a face-to-face interview, whenever you are at the venue or an event with a lot of candidates around you? What are the things that you should be mindful and informed about prior to attend any form of an interview? My name is Julia George. I used to be a cabin crew for Qatar Airways and flew for 10 years, where I have resigned from my last work position as a cabin service director. You also might want to click the subscribe button with the notification button for the many videos that are coming. Prior to that, I also would like to inform you that you might want to watch the video about the body language that you're supposed to display whenever you are having a job interview. And let's start. Ladies and gentlemen, here are all the things that you need to know in order to be successful, as I have previously mentioned, in all the forms of the interview that you will be attending, irrespective it is a video interview, a face-to-face interview, or at a stage of your assessment day, of your open day, etc, etc. You're most probably jumping on this video right after you have watched the video about the body language, but if you have not watched it, I will leave a link from the video about your body language during your job interview in the description below this video. The first thing that you should not do during any form of your interview, whether you're doing a video interview, as I have mentioned, and whether you are a face-to-face interview, please ensure that you don't look at the wall, you're not looking at the window outside, you don't look somewhere else, you don't look distracted. Make sure that you're looking at the eye level of the person that you're talking to, and make sure that you have you're maintaining that eye contact that we previously spoke about in the video about the body language. The second very important thing that you should not do is don't pick at yourself. Don't touch your ear, don't touch your nose, try not to touch your clothes and try not to look that you're having certain discomfort. Try to sit and act as professionally as you can. The third thing that you should not do is not to lean back on your chair and not to cross your arms. There are things that can happen if you lean back on your chair. You can leave an impression that you're moving away from the person, you're kind of scared, you're not sure, and it can be interpreted in different ways. Of course, try to sit, as I have mentioned, professionally, try to sit straight, try to be mindful about it, and also if you lean back and you do stuff like that, there is a possibility also from falling down, so you don't want that. Another thing that you're not supposed to do is try not to bring so many things in your hand that you have to carry them. Try to have all your things, your CV, your pen, your documents, neat and tidy inside your bag. And another important thing that I'm going to mention over here when it comes to your personal things is forget about your mobile phone, okay? Make sure your mobile phone is switched off. I would suggest you to switch off your mobile phone and try to forget about your mobile phone until you're out from the venue. This is also equally applicable when you're doing a video interview. Make sure that your phone is far away and you're not getting distracted. If you really need to use your mobile phone, if you're at the venue or at an event with a lot of candidates around you, just use your mobile phone whenever you are in the toilet and alone. Because at every point of time during your venue, especially on the breaks, you have been monitored. And let's say if you have a document that you have been asked to show it to the recruiters, and that document is something that you have on your mobile phone and you don't have it with you, it can be different type of document, of course, make sure to ask a permission from the recruiters that you have that document and it's on your mobile phone. Ask them if you can take out your mobile phone and you can show it to them. And after confirmation, take it out and show it to them. I don't think that there will be a problem. But it's really, really important that you know that you're not supposed to carry your mobile phone with you. Another thing that I would stress about is to keep a safe distance whenever you're interacting with the candidates or with the recruiters as well. What does it mean, a safe distance? I would say 1 arm distance between a person whenever you're standing, because if you're too close to somebody, you're entering their personal space, they might not like it. But if you're standing at a 1 arm distance, there is no problem. You look like someone who knows, and also you're using your gestures when you're communicating and stuff like that. It's more comfortable if you're doing that in front of the person where you have that 1 arm distance from them. So make sure that you maintain that safe distance and you're mindful about. Ladies and gentlemen, another thing that you should be mindful and do or not to do during your interview is do not display a fake smile, please. Always have in mind that your recruitment team or whoever is going to watch the video interview, they're all very experienced and they will see that the fake smile you have presented. Smile from your heart. Think about the person that you love the most in your life. Your smile should show enjoyment, excitement, positive attitude. People, the other candidates, the recruiters, they should be feeling pleasant when they are surrounded by you. So ensure that your smile is from your heart. Now, someone in the comments also might ask me about smoking, and the answer to that is that if you're applying to be a cabin crew within Qatar Airways, you should be a non-smoker, period, and no discussion about it. Don't even think to go outside on the breaks and to lighten the cigarette. Your cigarettes and your mobile phone, they do not exist. Also, something that I would like to mention over here is a chewing gum. Do not chew a gum. A proper hand movement is also important. We have already spoke about it in my body language video. The link of that video is in the description below this video. Please have a look. Another important thing you should be mindful about is not to speak poorly about your present or about your previous employers, about your colleagues. That's not professional, and the recruiters or whoever is going to watch the video interview would assume that you will do the same thing for them when you will be applying for another job. So in order to stay professional, do not speak poorly. Now, another thing that you should be very mindful about is do not falsify informations. What do I mean when I say do not falsify informations? Answer the questions truthfully and as close to the point as possible. Explain all the things that are about you, related to you, that are connected to the position that you're applying for, the cabin crew job, and that you reflect your past experience. If you have been probed in an area or you have been asked something that is not your strength, just be honest and inform your recruiters or speak in front of the video interview that you are willing to learn that, you're willing to work on that, and that you can follow up those skills because you will show willingness to learn. And remember, in many of my YouTube videos previously, I've shared with you that the recruitment team, the human resources teams are looking for learners. Now, do not speak over the recruiters, over the interviewers. It's very important that you are also a good listener as well as you're a good talker. It shows that you are respectful and it shows that you have strong interpersonal skills. It's part of the non-negotiable rules and regulations, so therefore please keep in mind. If you are somehow facing time limitations whenever it is your video interview, let's say, or the recruiter has informed you that there is a time limitation, avoid rushing the answers to the questions that the interviewers have given to you. Wait for them to talk to you first and then finish as much as you can and speak as much as you can. Now, don't assume that this is not an interview, regardless of what stage of your interview you are and who you are meeting. It might be you meeting the recruiters over a coffee, or you are meeting them on when the venue has not started yet. Please act professionally and please act and maintain all the things that we spoke previously, and we will still speak as you are in an interview. So it means you're meeting the recruiters on the break and you're having a chewing gum, a big no. Do not let any past rejections that you have had to influence the future ones, to influence this one. And finding a job or being cabin crew can be a bit taxing, it can be long. Just make sure that you approach every job interview as a new opportunity and you will learn from your past interview mistakes. If you have been doing several interviews lined up in a row, now try to leave some space between them to ensure that you are performing the best in that job interview, because the job search can be really hard and can involve a lot of frustrations. And to try to eliminate the frustrations, try to eliminate any negative attitude that you might have incorporated, and that is why you are watching this video. Don't be unprepared for the interview, any sort of interview. You may not be asked all the questions, but you should go through my playlist of possible questions and answers that the recruiters might ask you. So in order to understand why the recruiters are asking you those questions and to know how to better structurize the answer for those questions, you will have the link from my playlist of possible questions and answers in the description below this video. It is very important, ladies and gentlemen, that you do not make excuses. Take responsibility for your decisions and a responsibility for your actions. If you have forgotten something, apologize. Be responsible for that. Usually candidates are throwing a lot of excuses when they're talking to the recruiters. If they find in an area that they're not certain about or they have made a mistake, do not do that. It is more important if you show that you have an ability to take a responsibility rather than to display excuses. Let's go to some other things that you're not supposed to be doing quickly during any sort of your interview process, whether, as I have mentioned, video interview, a face-to-face interview, or at any stage of your recruitment process for a cabin crew. Do not dress sexy. What do I mean when I say do not dress sexy? Often candidates are going with short skirts. If you're applying for a Middle Eastern airline, try your skirt to be below your knees. It's okay to be a bit tight, but not like super tight. You should be having that comfort to move around, to sit and stuff like that. Don't be late. Never be late. If you are on time for one thing, make sure that you are on time for your job interview, but I always suggest go before the interview starts. Ladies and gentlemen, please do not show up knowing nothing about the airline and knowing nothing about the cabin crew role. If you're on my social media platforms, I already spoke a lot about Qatar Airways, but you can do your research and your studies about Emirates Airlines, Etihad Airways. Make sure that you study the airline well. Do not wear bright colors. I suggest always that you go for a dark suit. For ladies and for gentlemen, the black one will be the perfect choice. So don't go with orange, don't go with reddish and stuff like that. The only red thing, if you're a lady, that I suggest you to have on you is the red lipstick, of course. Do not act and do not display casual attitude, and do not address the candidates if you're meeting them on the breaks as dude, or hey there and stuff like that. Try to not do that during the stage of the recruitment processes. Don't wear too much of perfume as well. Don't offer a limp, a weak handshake. We already talked about the handshake in my previous video. If you're shaking the person, shake them firmly, but do not break their hand. Do not drink alcohol before the interview. You don't want to smell like an alcoholic, right? Do not look for answers in your CV. Most probably you will have your CV with you, so don't try to look for answers. You need to know what you have written in your CV. Whatever you do when you will be interacting with the recruiters, don't say no. If they tell you, do you have any questions for me? It's very important that you go through the list of possible questions that the recruiters might ask you in my playlist over here on my YouTube channel, so you would know what the recruiters would expect you to ask them, so in order not to say no. Don't display a desperate attitude. Make as much as you can eye contact with the recruiters, but try not to look like a psycho. You're constantly looking at them. This is also very important. If you're laughing, if there is a joke that has been thrown, laugh normally, but don't laugh as you're someone who's psychopathic. You should be laughing modestly, and you should have that proper way of laughing as well. Don't lie, don't swear, don't bring your mom or your dog or whatsoever. If you're going for an open day assessment day or final interview, you don't want to bring your mom because you're supposed to be having a mature attitude. You're over 21 years and above to be a cabin crew, so therefore it is important that you show that you are someone who can be responsible and can be independent. Whatever you do during that open day, assessment day, final interview, video interview, please ensure that you do not have an attitude. It is so important and it is visible. Be proud of your accomplishments, but be humble, please. It is so important that you be humble and you display humility. And do not argue or correct the interviewers, the recruiters, or the other candidates. If you don't agree with something, just leave it. Do not complain as well. We already spoke about the picking on yourself, to touch your face, to touch your neck and stuff like that. Also, don't play with your hair because you will be looked at someone who's nervous. It's very important that you're mindful about those things. We talked about also the defensive style, to cross your hands. It is also a big no during any stage of your recruitment process. Also, don't look impatient. Don't look at the watch. Do not talk about politics, religion, or any other taboo subjects. It's very important. to other candidates, to the recruiters as well. And also do not act like a teenager. Don't use slang, jargons, whatever, you know, and stuff like that. That is a big no. Try not to do that. Do not shoplift, even if you really like that soap and that towel in the toilet or whatsoever. You're going on that venue to get the job. You're not going there to ensure that you have gotten something if you have not gotten the job. It's really not professional, and you're not supposed to be having this type of habits anywhere, wherever you're going. So that would be all, ladies and gentlemen. I think that I have covered most of the things that you're not supposed to do whenever you're going for any sort of an interview. Especially, I'm going to once again at the end of this video highlight that it's very important that whenever you are displaying or you're interacting and you are answering questions, and if it is a video interview, in your mind, you're displaying the body language and you're mindful about all the things, because that video that it has been recorded will later on be viewed by the human resources teams, by the recruiters, and they will be judging your body language also on the video interview, because often candidates are asking me, are all things that you have said applied in the video interview? Perhaps not the shoplifting thing, as you're in front of the camera and what you will be shoplifting there, but most of the things when it comes to picking on yourself, as I have said, the fake smile, all the other aspects, it's a common sense, you know what is really, really applicable in front of the video interview that you're doing. Last but not the least, one small reminder, make sure that you have clicked the subscribe button, share this video, give it a thumbs up, share it with your other friends as well, and I'm going to be seeing you very soon. Bye bye and have a nice day.